All right, welcome back to part 3 of the Learn to Play series here for Tanares Adventures. So I will be continuing on from where we were before. So we are actually starting right here. So we did the All Villains Are Dead, and we are starting into event 2. So we removed the statue already that was on the board. We have already given each hero 3 mana cubes. I'll show that here in a second. And then transfer all heroes to the red mission tile. I have also already did that. That's right here. And remove the big red door, which was also already removed. And now we have already placed the 2 villains here, Berserker 03R and Warrior 34G. And so they are on the board. And the next part is if all villains are dead, start event 3. Okay, so now that we have kind of unlocked more of our additional powers, let's kind of quickly go over some of that here before we jump into our first turn of the new round. So this is the skill pad here for a hero character. Each full hero you have will have these, of course. You will have always 4 different tokens. You can place these tokens, these skill tokens, in any spot that you want that matches the level. So for example, this one here is a level 1, and then if you eventually through the campaign, you'll be able to unlock level 2 and 3 skills, which are more powerful. And so you'll have 4. And you can order them however you'd like. So how does the skill pad work? So there are skills here on the left-hand side and right-hand side designated by the color. So the blue are the skills that this character can take during an ally turn, and the skill that they can take on a villain's turn. So all of the skills are powered by mana cubes. So at the part of this section here, we have gained 3 mana cubes for all of our heroes, including our comrade, which we just placed right on top of her pad there. But you will see the cost of each skill written right here, right? So it's just 1 for these lower level skills, 2 for the level 2 skills, and 3 for level 3 skills. There's also a little bit more interesting information right here where it talks about the range. So unless stated otherwise, the targets of effects need to be in vision and in range 8 of you. So this is for skills, attacks, items, passive powers. This is just kind of a good reminder, especially since you're going to have this a lot here. Then there is 2 other important things here. One of them may be a little less important right now in the game, but later it'll be better, but it ties into this one here. So total charge. So total charge is as you use these skills, and we'll show more of this as we're playing through, but basically if this character uses a skill, he will flip that skill over, he will take off the corresponding mana cube that powered that skill, and as he continues, right, this is going to happen over multiple turns, he'll be able to flip all of these tokens over. Once you have all 4 of your tokens flipped over this, and this happens immediately, as soon as you flip that last one right there, you get whatever total charge benefit you have for this character. So specifically for the tactician class, their total charge is uncharge your 4 tokens, and an ally gains 2 cubes. So we would flip this, flip all of these tokens back. They're now uncharged, and when you flip them over, they're called charged. And then let's say you then could say, oh, well, shooter, you gain 2 cubes, and now he's at 5 cubes. So that is how that one would work. Each class has their own different total charge. So for example, the shooters, when they do it, they do a total of 9 damage to a villain. And for the bruisers, they do, when they total charge, they heal themselves for 9. So how does a comrade's work? Well, a comrade doesn't have a total charge since they're not a full character, but they still do get mana cubes. And you'll notice here, if you saw down here on the card, it says allies or villain turns. So just like the normal ones where it's ally or villain turn, you can spend a number of cubes and get different, well, it's usually a increasing amount of an effect. So for 1 cube, for the commander here, you will heal 3 to a hero. 2 is 6, 3 is 10, 4 is 16. So there is no 5 option, it's just up to 4 at one time. But you can do that once per turn, and this is true for all of the different skills. All right, let's quickly discuss the mana power ability here. It says pay X amount of cubes on your turn and charge X of your skill tokens. So what exactly does that mean? Well, we talked earlier about that when you charge a skill, it means you're flipping the token over to be on this other side. And when you get all 4 of them flipped, you will be able to total charge. Well, let's say it is Garen's turn here. He has 3 cubes, and he wants to put out some cubes to one of his other friends here, either the shooter or the bruiser character, because they desperately need cubes, and he doesn't really need them right now. He could spend his 3 cubes here to flip these ones here like this, and then that would then become a total charge. Of course, then flipping back all of his tokens again, and he would then provide 2 cubes to somebody else. Now, at level 1, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to do this because the cubes are, it's just a 1-for-1. But the important part actually to remember is that as you scale up in the game and you're getting level 3 abilities and level 2 abilities, mana power becomes a lot more powerful. So let's pretend instead that these were actually 2 level 3 skills and a level 2, and then you had a level 1 like this. Which could happen way later in the game. Normally, to use all of these abilities, that would cost us 3, 6, 8, 9 mana cubes to total charge. So while the abilities are stronger, at the same time, it also makes it more expensive to use our skill tokens. That's where mana power becomes very, very powerful. So in our same situation, let's pretend this one was already flipped here. It's Garen's turn. He could spend the 3 mana cubes and flip all of these remaining tokens, which normally would have costed him a total of 8 cubes to flip those to total charge. But now it's only costing him 3. So that is significantly more powerful than it is on level 1. But that's just to kind of show you how the game scales up as we get further on. Another thing to note too is mana power only happens on your turn, unlike the rest of the board where it's either on a villain turn or an ally's turn. There's only one more thing that I haven't mentioned yet about skill pads here. So you will notice on the back of the skills here, there's this plus cube symbol here. So while it does denote that the skill has been charged, it doesn't actually mean that the skill can no longer be used, which is kind of like the intuitive thought. Actually, what it means is the skill can still be used, but it costs 1 additional cube to use. So if in the future here we get into a situation where somebody does take, needs another shielded to prevent them from dying, or whatever the situation is, instead of costing us normally 1 cube to use this ability again, we would spend 2 cubes, and now we get to apply that effect. The skill still stays as charged. It doesn't flip back or anything, but that is how you can continue to use your skills, and that will, of course, scale with everything else. So if you have a level 2 skill, this means using it again would be a 3, and then at a 4, level 3, then it would count as a 4. So anyway, good thing to know about skills. So let's continue on here, and this will make more sense as we begin playing, because this is kind of a thing where you can do multiple actions at the same time while it's someone else's turn. Real quick, before we get started, you'll notice that we do have 2 new villains here. We have the Berserker Violent here. He does a lot of damage on hit. He's going after the person with the most HP. He pushes for the target, and he has something down here. So he has his own passive effect, and his trigger will always be the same, just like how heroes always have the same triggers. It's exactly the same idea. So reds will always be the same trigger. No other hero is in one of the target, and he will get to deal +7 damage. For our green warrior guardian hero here, his passive is, the trigger is a villain. This villain moved 2 or less, and he didn't sidestep. So sidestep, as we talked about before, is using all of your movement to make one move away that won't incite a reaction attack, and then he will get to do this effect at the bottom. So the villains are getting stronger here as we continue on, and we're going to continue playing through this so you guys can kind of understand a little bit more about this mana system. So let's first look here at, let's do Avalon here for our first turn. Avalon will use the Shockwave ability, is a range 8 up to 2 enemies, and it does 16 damage on hit, plus the effect you may move any number of targets hit up to 3 squares each. And so similar to passives, you can do special attacks. So Avalon here is within vision and range. Now you can do corner to corner on the vision, and as long as those corners don't intersect a barrier, which is the case here, he can hit that green. We can do that. Before we attack, we will say that Avalon is going to be focused. He's not going to move, and he is going to attack first. So he is first going to attack green, and then he will attack red. So we will do the roll here for that. 19 on green, so that's a hit, and a 9 on red. So both of those will be hit because we can see the defense value here of 6 for red and 7 for green. Both of those have been exceeded, and so now he will get to apply his damage. Now before we go apply that, we're going to pretend here that our tactician friend who is helping us, or just ourselves playing, since it is an ally's turn, it's Avalon's turn, not Garen's turn here. He will flip this token, spend a cube, and it says after the roll, which he did, he will spend 2 HP. That means he comes up here and he moves his HP down 2. And now he will do the ally deals +3 damage or +7 damage if it's with mob or focus. Focus, remember, is what Avalon just did to increase his chances to hitting, which he really didn't end up needing in this case, but he will actually still get a +7 damage here. Since he gets that skill that's kind of boosting it. So now we will look at Avalon's ability. So we'll apply the, first we apply that hit damage, so 16 damage per hit. I have already placed their tokens. Berserker's at 50, and this green is at 17. So since he took the first one here, we will go down 16. And 15, 16. The Berserker took 16 as well, so that's, and 15, 16. And then from that effect here, that is +7 more from the skill that Garen did. So 5, 6, 7, and 5, 6, 7. Okay, so these guys have already taken quite a bit of damage. The next part is reading this passive. So target is 4 more away from you, which he did. Move to the target and deal +8 damage if it takes terrain damage during this attack. So he won't actually get to, well, so he will get to do this, 1, 2, but he didn't get to move, whoops. He won't get to move it on yet, except since he has the shockwave effect here, it says you may move any number of targets hit up to 3 squares each. So now this guy will go blah, right here into the spikes, and then 1, 2, 3, both of them taking that damage. This only applies to the first one that he hit, so he will get to do 8 additional damage to green, and that'll bring him down to 40 there. So that is a massive amount of damage that Avalon just did. We flip over that special. It can no longer be used in this quest again. So that is it for Avalon's turn. Since he attacked green, green will be the first one to go. So green going after the person with the most cubes. So looking here at the options, he's too far away to just attack. So he needs to Dark Surge, which means he takes 3 damage, 1, 2, 3. We talked about this in the last one. And he will go, I actually realized I forgot one more thing. Because he went in the spikes, both of them take 4 more damage because that is the amount of terrain damage that they should have taken there. So my bad on missing that. But they have both taken quite a bit of damage just right there on that first attack. So now green is going to go and he will begin to move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, actually, no, I'm sorry. He's going to go here, and he's going to attack the commander's pet because he is Dark Surging. This is the one time that he actually will go after the commander's pet if he is the closest, which is the order here at this point. So now that villain will be getting ready to attack. We'll use a mana cube here from rank here. So before he is about to attack the commander's pet, we will use the barrier ability here, which is before the roll, a hero is shielded 3. Which means he will take 3 less damage, even counting residual. So the defense here is a 6. So all we have to do is either exceed, try to miss that. Nope, not happening. Okay, so that is a 14. So that will be a hit. So the commander, because the commander's pet was attacked and it did exceed the defense here, that will be 10 damage here, which you can see on this card here, minus 3. So that will just be 7. 5, 6, 7. So a little less damage. So that was kind of a good play there to help mitigate some of that damage. You'll see that his trigger for his passive is this villain move 2 or less. He doesn't get his passive because he had to move way too much, and that will be the end. Although he will actually, get one more effect. So he will heal 6, the villain with the lowest HP, which will be red here. So he will heal red up here to 29. All right, so that is the end of one turn between the heroes and the villains. All right, let's continue on here for the next turn here. So we have Scarra here, I think we're going to use here now. So she wants to attack Red, who is down here. He's at a range 9 away. He's a little bit away. So let's discuss a different way to use sidestep. So while sidestep does move you one place, uses all your movement, there's actually one other more little known fact here about sidestep. You can actually do it to trade positions with another character. So Scarra is back here. She can actually swap places with rank here, here, which will actually put her in range to be able to attack the red character, which we kind of have some reasons for why we will do that here in a second. So we have sidestepped here with Scarra, so that is her movement, and now she's going to make her primary attack here. So she will decide to use the benefit here, which is the +1 to her attack roll, and she will attack Red. So we will roll the dice here, and she got a 14. So she is successful, and she will do the 7 damage to Red here. So that will bring him down to 22. The next part is the companion will take his turn. So he will attack this green character. So remember, Red was the first one that is attacked, but Gladius there is going to attack green, and that is a 6. Which he gets a +1 because he is using a basic attack. As we mentioned before, basic attacks get the benefit of a +1, which does beat, is equal to that 7. So that is successful, and he will do 5 damage there to green, which will bring him down to 28. Now, the next part is we actually do get to use the passive here. So the companion hits an enemy in 5 of you, the first hit of its prime action, and a hero may charge a skill token. Okay, so we'll look over here and we'll decide, hey, maybe we'll have rank here charge one of his skill tokens, and now he doesn't have to pay any cubes for that. Okay, so the other part of this effect now that he gets, Scar gets to apply is deal +3 damage, dispel 2, and ally moves 3. So we'll do the 3 more damage, 1, 2, 3 to Red. And now Dispel 2, which doesn't do anything in this specific situation because there is no effects to Dispel. So he will then get to move an ally 3. So we'll just put rank here back here in the fight, 1, 2, and then he'll just kind of squeeze in here, kind of into that little slot there. And now we have completed Scarra's turn here. And now Red will take his turn. Now before Red takes his turn, Garen is going to do something at the start of his turn. He will pay the cube, flip the token, and pay 4 HP. So you get 38, so it'll go down to 34, and he will make Red bleeding 2. So what is bleeding 2? You can place this on here, but basically this is going to happen as soon as we get started. Bleeding is a special effect here that for every space a character or combatant takes, they will take 2 damage. So the further that they move, the more damage that they will take. You can basically, if you're a human player and you're trying to negate this, you would want to take as little movement as possible, and then that will drop your effect off. So you take 1 movement and take that 2 damage, and that's it. But a villain character does not have control of that. They still have to follow their normal rules. Since he is too far away, he does also have to take 3 damage for Dark Surge that he will have to do, and he will go up here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so the Berserker here now takes 12 damage because he has now taken this movement, and as he is moving along here, we can actually decide to do another effect here, which is rank here will pay 4 HP, and he will make a ranged basic attack here on red before he makes his strike. And that is a 20, a natural crit, which actually means that whenever you get a natural 20 here, that is a critical hit, you'll get plus 5 damage. So rank here would do 8 plus 5, which is easily more than enough to kill red before he gets to make his strike. So that was a very powerful move there to use on this turn. Now that red is killed, all heroes will now get 1 mana cube because of the death of that character. Even your comrade character will also get that. So that is 1 off the board. He did not get to make his strike in time, and the heroes prevented him from doing that. Okay, so now we have Scarra, who has finished her turn, and that is it. All right, our heroes have 2 more turns here. So Scarra and Avalon have already finished. We still have Garen and Rank here who have yet to take their turns, although it kind of seems unlike that, right? Because they've gotten to use some other abilities during other people's turns. But it is actually Garen's turn here. So he is kind of a little bit further back away from the fight. He could use like this ability here to do Dirty Trick and be able to strike him without moving. There is also another option that we could do here with Dashing Blade. He gets a benefit of move 4. So we're actually going to do Dashing Blade, and Garen, who is in back here, will go 1, 2, 3, and really, I mean, this is probably good enough for the situation. So he doesn't have to move up to the 4, but he has now made this character exposed because he is flanking that character, so that will give him a better chance to hit. And if he does, he will actually also get to do plus 9 damage. So anyway, Garen here doing his Dashing Blade ability, and we can also increase our chances here of a success by spending a cube here from our shooter and making him blessed, which we will now roll twice, an 8 and a 17. Both of those actually are hits. So Garen is successful. He does the 11 damage on hit, and since he is an ally is in one of the target first hit of the turn, he will deal that plus 9 damage, so that is 20 damage, bringing him down to 8 life left. Since that villain has already taken his turn, he does not get to do any retaliation until the next round if he were to survive, and at this point that's probably unlikely. So Garen has now finished his turn. He's flipped his card over to indicate he's done that. So now we have only Rank here left. Let's go with his Vitality Sword so that way he can get a hit. So the first thing that we look at for bruisers is at the start of your turn, there is at least one enemy in range 2 of you. This enemy takes 3 damage plus 2 per effect on combatants. Right now there isn't, so that enemy just takes 3 damage. And now Rank here will do his Vitality Blade here on green. And that's a 15, so that is a success. And he will do the remaining damage to kill off green. He will also heal himself 4 with that effect. And that will be it here. So the heroes have now completed event 2, and they will be moving to event 3, which means we'll get all teleported here to the next location, and then we'll remove this door, well, really both of these doors here, and remove this to indicate that we now have access to our items here. So now we have our longsword, chainmail, and then for our range characters, we have the short bow and leather jacket here now available. Also, everyone else, everyone gains a mana cube because this character was killed. So now everyone has, in fact, Scarra has max amount of mana cubes. So we will begin part 4.